Hey, hello guys, here we are and I am International Master Minh again in my channel. So now I am logging in my Speedrun Rapid account in order to play some 10 minutes game. I think I will invite people randomly, and obviously my idea is trying to, ride to 2100 maybe. But obviously my main idea here is trying to play some slow games in order to show you my thinking process, in order to show you the opening, I can say, knowledges, and own up the, advices to get better at chess, at this wonderful sport. Feel free to ask me any question you want to, and hopefully you like my content and you enjoy the instructive stuff. So let me try to invite people right now with 10 minutes and let's start. Okay, the first one I meet here is the guy from US. Magnificent, yes it is. E4, I think I will play this game C6. I mean, I have played the Sicilian plenty of times earlier. This time I will look for the Caro-Kann. F3, D5. Now the main line is knight C3 or just here. Let's see what he play here. Hello, Ante as well. Knight C3. This is the main line here. This is the main line, which is called the two knights attack. Do you play differently if you place knight F3 or D4 and a second move? No. I mean, it changed a bit. I mean, if you play D4 here, I will still play D5. But that is something different here. But with knight C3, so I mean, I don't know if you guys see this thing a lot. But for black here, the best move is to play bishop G4 right away. This one, which is called the Mindanao variation. The idea here is trying to pin the queen right away. Couple variation. The thing is that, I mean, like, it is playable as well. I mean, like, you can play D4 here and knight 4, knight 6 and transpose to the couple variation later, which is pretty fine way as well. I think Dania must have some, videos about that, right? Which is also playable for sure. But here I will play something easier, E6. The thing for me is that I believe that, when I play bishop G4 here, I can get out the bishop from C8. And now I can play E6 without worrying that my bishop will be locked on C8, right? That's why this one, pinning him right away, is a good move. E5. Okay, makes sense. This one is also pretty good by him as well. And but obviously the thing for him is that this pawn here will be weakened for sure. That's why I will simply play move knight D7. This one. Put pressure on the knight on F3 right away. D4 makes sense. The thing here is that I want to threaten bishop F3 and knight E5, right? D4. Now it can somehow, the pawn structures resembles the French, but obviously a good thing here for us is that the bishop has been getting out, right? Which pawn will you take with and white? If take on D5, this one normally here E5, right? Take with the C pawn, I believe, or even E pawn is fine too. I mean, you can take with both, but normally here I think E5 should be the best. This one here, and then you can have, I can say, a very good position later. Now C5, and obviously I want to strike his center, right? H3. He want to kick away my bishop. But now, guys, how can we destroy his center right now? Sicilian better than Caro-Kann. Depends, Plenty of strong players play Caro-Kann. And obviously, plenty play Sicilian as well. It's just based on your choice and based on what you want to play. Both are playable, just basically what you want to play. So now takes on f3 correct, and he take it back here, right? And we take on d4. The thing is that now his pawn on d4 was taken, and this pawn e5 suddenly become weak. You see, this pawn here suddenly become very weak. That's why here I will play this move, knight e7. This seems to be quite a weird move. Block the bishop temporarily. But by this move here, we plan this move knight c6. And after you can see, right, after we attacking on the pawn on d4, and we take that, suddenly the pawn on e5 becoming very bad and very weakened, right? And now the knight here, and the pawn on e5 suddenly get into some trouble. But the bishop is blocked. Yes, I mentioned earlier, right? The bishop will be blocked temporarily. But after knight here or knight here, my bishop can get out later. And this one is with tempo. Yeah, this one is with tempo. Attacking the queen and the pawn at the same time. So my bishop can get out to c5 or b4, whatever you want to. Castles. Knight c6, right? Attacking the queen and the pawn at the same time. Will you show accuracy after the game? Sure. I don't think accuracy will be so high. The thing for me is that I don't want to play something really accurate. I just want to show you something that is understandable and something that should be the easiest to play in my opinion. Some of these may be not really correct. It's just very understandable in a human mind. Now since we are attacking the queen and the pawn at the same time, right? He cannot defend for sure, so that's why here we will be able to take the pawn on e5 later. The question is just what knight. Okay guys. Now what can black do now? What can black do now here? Which is the best move you think here for black to play this moment? Let's go. When would you start thinking about castling? Good question. The thing is that, you can castle if you feel that, your king is in danger, or you want to finish your development. But now, since the center is closed, you can temporarily, decline that. And also, you can try to activate the pieces first. Okay guys, so now obviously as I mentioned earlier, knight e5 looks really good, right? Looks really good. Taking the free pawn. Bishop c5 looks pretty good as well when you want to activate your bishop with tempo. Sure, but a very general rule is that when you see something good, wait a moment and see if there can be something better. And now, suddenly we see that the queen just come for e3, just come from d4 to e3, right? And suddenly, see this one, like this. You see here? And that's why we got a fork. A forcing fork. And it enables us to win a piece right away. Sure? d4. Look for own possibilities. Sometimes you can miss something easy. Sometimes you can miss something easy. You understand? Queen d3. Okay, once again we can do plenty of things here. But I will take the knight first. Knight e5 is surely playable if you want to. Since you take the pawn and attacking both as one, right? But I want to make it safe for you guys to understand. That's why, just the first. This is wrong. Knight e5 must be stronger for sure. Attacking the pawn, attacking the queen here, right? The bishop and the knight as well. But this one, I think, is simpler to understand. That's why I will play that. Queen c3, knight e5, this one. Okay, so now we finished all of the complications and we are up a minor piece now. That's it. The knight defending the knight is here. Rook d1, good move. Obviously, activating the pieces should be considered for him, which actually is only choice. Okay guys, a small question here. Small question. Where do you think Where do you think your queen can run? Where do you think your queen can run from the attack of this rook on d1 here? I will make some slow and some clear explanations in order for you guys to understand things here clearly. Let's go. First of all, knight f3 makes sense, but you're forgetting that he can play queen f3 to defend the rook on d1. Obviously, without queen f3, eliminate the defender is very, very nice. But he can take with the queen back, right? So he can defend the rook as well. Queen c7 seems nice, but somehow it, get into the bishop lanes here maybe, or into the pin here. I'm not a big fan of that move. I will try to trade the queens here, which is queen a5, this one. I believe that when we're up material, simplifying is the best. Obviously, you can play queen b6 or even queen f6. Actually, if you are playing against someone low rated, queen f6 makes a lot of sense. But I believe that exchanging the queens and trying to simplify to a winning endgame is the simplest. Bishop b4, rook d8 with checks, this one, and suddenly you drop a queen. And maybe you're not worse there, but there are no reason to go for complication like that, right? Queen b3 takes. Now it takes here, force the queen to come back to f3. And now I develop, right? Yes, and now I simply developed. And obviously, here we get into a winning position with a piece up. It should be 2. He is also playing well, but not enough for sure. Queen b6. Attacking, so we simply retreat. Alright? Now we castles here, and we simply a piece up. Please think of own questions later, and please consider what you want to ask. We will try to review the game later, and I will try to answer everything I can. Queen g3, castles. Okay guys, you see here, right? For the name Magnificent, he is playing great. This one actually is quite, dangerous. But how can black defend here? Simply to deal with the threat on the g7 pawn. There's a very simple way here to deal with the threats and deprive on of his counterplay. Queen b2 can be playable for sure, since I queen b2 defend the pawn from far away. But I don't like rook b1 here, maybe. That's why I play this move. Simple. I want to keep it simple. Bishop f6. Defend the pawn here, right? And now we're safe. There are absolutely no more threats. And now, okay, takes here. Obviously, now we get to endgame, right? Up a knight on c6. Queen b2 is fine, but I believe I will play something safe. Rook d8. Neutralize the d file, right? And prevent him from invading to d7 here, maybe. Takes. Obviously, now we have a free knight, and the game should be kind of over. The only thing we need to deal with now is the time, right? We have 2 minutes left compared with 5 minutes. I will try to tell you, maybe simply my advice is to play fast when you are down in time like this, but winning in positions. First of all, always make this move, a6. First of all, open the king left later. Also, chase the queen on g5 away. This kind of move to open up the door for your queen, for your king, is simply better for sure. Yes, since you don't want to lose the back rank mate, something like that, trying to open up the way for your king later. And let's do this. Now the queen need to retreat somewhere, and I will try to maybe, invading through the d file. We got the d file, right? or attacking some weaknesses here and here and here. Okay, invading is my next part. Rook d2. Yes, I mean be careful. Rook d2 and you got this one. Be careful before you play any kind of moves. Make sure you see that that square has been occupied by your opponent pieces or not. You know, to make sure you don't hang any material. Sure. Queen f3. Okay, but okay. Why not, right? Why not? Activate the knight. Go for the pawn here. We can go on rook c2 as well. But everything's winning. Everything's winning now. But I mean, to make it easy, I want to activate under my pieces. Under my pieces. I mean, there will be this kind of thing here. When the opponent may somehow misplace their pieces, or simply, they don't see that. Basically he want to trade, right? He want to trade. He want to trade the queen with the knight, and I will gladly accept that. He want to trade the queen with the knight, and I will gladly accept that. The bad news for him is that now this is a mate here. GG. GG. Yes, it is. GG. GG. Okay, not a really, not a really instructive games, but okay. Show accuracies, sure. If you want to, I don't think that should be so high, but should be decent, I believe. Okay, grim report here. Okay. What the heck, bro? Hello? Hello? Okay, now it's fine here. I think it is analyzing right now. So, in that time, I will try and come back to the game real quick. Real quick. e4, c6. d4 and f3, f3. Obviously the main line is d4, right? It's d4 and d5 here. This one. Which is the main line of the Caro-Kann variation. For someone who wants to know, Caro-Kann is known to be much more solid compared to the, very complex Sicilian. If you want to play something that is safe, solid, and still give you some chance to go for the win, Caro-Kann belongs to you. Caro-Kann is known to be much more solid compared to the Sicilian and a bit more complex compared to the French. Both are playable for sure, just based on your choice. Okay, 98% here. So slow, bro. Here we are. Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. I think I'm playing normally though. I think I'm playing something normal. I'm not playing something so hot, right? You can still see that we got one inaccuracies. One inaccuracies here. The engine definitely won't go for this. The engine will take the pawn right away. That is for sure. But still, ooh. Somehow, my accuracies is almost double. Almost double, to be honest. Almost double. Oh my goodness. You can see, right? I just use all of my time to explain things instead of thinking for sure. But still, okay. It's more than double. Yes. Okay, I forget that. The 44 double is like 88. Yeah. So the double is like 89.6. Somehow I think that 44, yeah. Double with 2 is like 99. Somehow I think double should be like 99.6. Oh. What I'm doing with math? Oh my goodness. Okay, back here to the game. I'm sorry for that. I'm so bad at math. Back here. The GM in chess. I mean, as I told you earlier, right? I tell Chipoto that earlier too. Like, we can be 3000 in chess, but we will be 1000 or even below in some other aspects of life. Back here, see what happened here? Let's go, right? Let's go. So this game here, 6, f3d5, knight c3. Okay, so I mean, like, if you guys also watch the Daniel's, I think, speedrun, you can also play this one as well. Knight for knight f6, which will transpose to the couple variation later with this. That's in d4, right? This one. And now we get to the couple variation, which is known to be playable for black too. But obviously it depends. I mean, once again, you can play both. But for me, I mean, against like knight c3, this kind of setups, so g4 is the best way to react, in my opinion. Pinning him right away. And I mean, like, trying to get the bishop out before you play a6, so that you won't block your own bishop, right? The main idea in this Caro-Kann variation compared to the French is that you don't want to block the bishop and see it, right? And this one here can be kind of like something pretty the same ideas, but the bishop here will always struggle, right, to come to the game. But now with the Caro-Kann, the bishop can have the diagonal here to get out first before you play a6. You understand? In the game, bishop e2 makes sense. He want to play safe. The main line here can be like h3 here, h3. It's one, and then like you can, you know, take here or take here. They are both fine. They are both fine for sure. You can choose both. But I think the simplest option should be like this one. Take c and e6, and like, you know, take here next and 97. When black simply achieve a very solid position, when the worst pieces on c8 has been traded away, and now take here on d4 here, 97, knight f6 here, and black is very solid. That's it. This one, the name of the opening is the Caro-Kann variation, and the name is the Mindano line for black in the Caro-Kann. In the game, bishop e2 was played by him though, which is fairly, you know, safer. e6. Yes, pawn pyramid. This one, right? That's fairly good for sure. So now, love your opening tutorials. No worries, I mean, my pleasure. Hopefully you enjoy that too. So now, I think along the process, PyCloud asked me, if you take on d5 here, what can I do, right? But now I think the best way and the simplest option should be ed5, this one. When you have the, I mean, like, basically, you know, kind of, you know, I don't know, I forget the words. It's like just symmetrical, yeah, symmetrical pawn structures, right? And like you can play here, and I mean, like simply enjoys a very easy position, right? Obviously, you can also play cd5 here as well. Bishop e5 here and this one, like this. And you got a pin here, right? Which is very annoying for him. And knight here, bishop here, and you're fine for sure. Agree? So taking d5 here is nothing we need to be scared about. It's nothing we need to be scared about. In the game, e5, 97. Okay guys, so you know, when you get this thing like this, always attack the pawn behind, you know. The pawn here is hard to be attacked, for sure. The only way to do so is f6. But f6 will really weakening. That is fine, but that's the thing, that it will be a bit hard for you to play right now. So I will simply recommend attacking the pawn on d4, which should be, you know, easier to play and easier to understand as well. c5, right? We put pressure right away on the pawn on d4. And if the pawn on d4 disappear, the pawn e5 will be really weakening. Sure? Queen b6 is correct, it's fine. but c5 must be played now if you are slow. So I mean he can try and play like knight b1 and c3 maybe to build, I can say, like a pawn chain. But c5 now, since the knight is still occupying c3, we can take it next and weaken the pawn on d4, on e5 I mean. Understand? Feel free to ask me questions when my explanation is not clear enough. I mean, I know that my explanation will be way worse than Dania, but I will try every day to make that become better. h3, checks. Now we take here f3. Since obviously you can take a d4 next, and you know the knight f3 is guarding the center, right? But when you trade that away, suddenly the pawn on d4 and c5 are really getting exposed. Sure? Takes here, and he's in trouble. Queen e4, and this move is very important. I mean, I think that like if you play normally, so bishop c5 here to c5. If you take those pin knight, you lose the bishop pair. Is that okay? You know, I agree bishop pair is a thing that is important, but here the more important thing is about the pawn, especially the center pawn here. The bishop in g4, I mean, like you can come here and here, but you know the thing about this one is about the pawns like this. And also the position now is somehow pretty close, so you don't need to worry about the bishop pair ATM at this moment. So now normally this move seems to be very normal, right? This one, attacking the queen with tempo. But I think he can play queen g4 here probably, taking the pawn on g7 back. I mean, you will be fine here with like g6 here, I believe. This pawn is still a weakness. But now, I see the pawn here and the queen here can be attacked by the knight here if possible. And that is the reason why I play knight e7 here. Knight e7. Knight e7 here. And this move, actually, this move is very, you know, typical in the Caro-Kann. Since, you know, the knight can come here and go for this one here, like this. And obviously, your knight will be very well placed here. Like temporarily, it blocked the bishop. But you can come to knight here, attacking the pawn, and your bishop can wait for a moment. Wait for a time being. In the game, castles, knight sits here. And then you see I'm winning a pawn here, right? There's no way for him to deal with this. No way for him though. Thank you for teachers. And thank you for coming here too. Thank you for coming here to my stream too. You know, I mean, as I mentioned earlier, in this pandemic, life just treated me so well by giving me you guys, by giving me my viewers, by giving me the streamer stuff, and you know, basically give me some more friends to play with, have fun together, and doing this for you is my pleasure. No worries. In the game, so I think you should play like queen a4 or queen away somewhere, I don't know. But I will take on e5 next, whatever it is. This one, right? This one. This one here. And I'm fine too. I mean, it is a move. One moment, it is a move to, I mean, that develops a piece and advances the attack, so do a purpose. This is a good way to develop pieces. Yes, it is. Normally, I mean, when you want to develop pieces in the opening, the first thing you should think of is about the developing with tempo, for sure. First thing. But one thing that can be even more important sometimes is look for the way to develop with a threat. And you know, like to put the pieces in a really good squares. So this one obviously is a good square for our knight, right? That's why this is fairly beautiful and fairly important. In the game, queen e3 was played by him though, and he missed d4 for sure. I mean, he need to play something other to make sure he's only down a pawn. But now he's down a knight. I will answer that later after the game. d4, queen d3. And guys, as I mentioned earlier, this is very strong. This is very strong here. But I basically reject that, since I want to make it easier just by, you know, capturing the with my c3 here, right? Easier for me though, easier. I mean, whatever it is, your king is still on the middle of the board, right? Whatever it is. So I believe that, I mean, like the simplest way, take the knight first. Queen c3, knight e5, right? Taking the pawn here, taking the bishop, defend the knight too. Rook d1 makes sense. Queen a5. You know, not only we run the queen, but we run with tempo. We want to simplify the position. This is pretty good for sure. And obviously, take here, we'll take back with the knight, right? And once again, still cover the queen on a5. So this one is a good move. But obviously, you need to calculate that roughly. If you cannot, this is something I like the most. What should be the simplest option here, I believe. b1, queen a5, queen b3 here, takes on f3, takes on bishop e7 here. So now I basically can castle the next move and emerge up a mana piece, right? If you trade queen, is that a problem? No. No, it is not. Obviously here, so now we are up a piece, right? And like, you know, we can come back the knight here, bishop e7 and castles again. And we are fine, right? We can fine here. Okay, queen e5, b3 takes, bishop e7 here, bishop e2, queen b6, queen g3, castles, and here, obviously this one is fine for me. I think the best try for him is this one, bishop c3 here. You know, defend the pawn on b2 and attacking like this one. But I'm fine here, I can basically play f6 and e5 next one. Or the simplest option is e5 right away, like this. I will be fine, whatever it is. That's it. If you castle queen side, I mean, like, you know, I don't think you can castle on the queen side here, especially the rook is controlling the d-file like this. In the game this one was played, f6 here, defend other things, and I'm fine now. And thank you Thony for the tier 1 subs. Why do you delay castling? For development and for a piece up. For a piece, I am willing to delay the castling for the time being, but I'm up a piece, right? And there are no danger after all. So why can't we just delay the castles for a while and go for the pieces, right? And now I'm fine, right? You see I'm still castling here, and I'm fine for sure. g5 takes to d8. The engine will definitely love this one. But for me, I will play the simplest option. Rook d8. Takes. b1. Define a pawn here. a6. A very important move. Chase the queen away. And also open up the fly square for the king later. You know, deprive of own, I mean, you know, big rank idea for your opponent at the end of the game. Also, now obviously, you want to play rook d2 here, right? Activate your rook and swipe over the second rank. But you know, this is not something you want to do now. I mean, this will become very funny. This will become very funny. a6, queen g3, rook d2, queen f3. I mean, now the rook come here. The thing for the rook on the second rank is that it should be very, very strong and should be also something important for sure. Queen f3, d4, and obviously in the game he simply give us a free queen with this one, but he should be dead here. I mean, like, whatever it is, I mean, like here, whatever. GG, right? GG. And in the game, that is over. Right? That's it. That is it. Okay. So, any questions here? Any questions before I come to the next game? Do you have any questions, or are my explanation clear enough? I will give you guys like 30 seconds to 1 minute to ask questions. In that time, okay, I have the watermelon here, and cheers. At the same time, so yeah, what I can say, gambits, right? You want to ask for gambits. One thing about gambit is that normally if you want to beat the gambits, try to learn something and try know the ways to deal with that. If you cannot, play gambits, right? Play gambit. I mean, you can see I do play elephant, right? For black, so I do play elephant. I also play the Nimjovich variation, which include the 2-pawn sacrifice in the opening. Gambit is fine, actually. Have you ever played with upper wizard? Yes, plenty of times in Lee chess. What would your plan be if he defended against checkmate? Better and not lost the queen. Okay, obviously that's a thing there. But if he defend that, okay, so we can get on the pawns here, right? Get on the pawns on the second rank and activate the knight and make it easier. That's it. What should you study as a beginner? Plenty of things. I mean, I believe it should be openings. I mean, a bit openings. And, some kind of tactics as well. Also, some general rules. Some general rules which need to be understood clearly as well. No, I'm not. I'm playing in my Rapid account. Okay, guys, any question? No, right? So, okay. So, this is the first game today. Game second will continue really soon.